What's up, everybody? It is the end of June. I don't know what day it is, but it's the end of June 2022. Had a lot going on here lately, but I'm finally getting around to working on the bow. I've got my bear species. It was in the shop for a little bit. I had actually broke the bottom cam, but bear was cool. They warranted it, so all I had to pay was $20 for the shop I took it to swap the cam. Now I got it back. It's kind of ate up from last year. The cable's got a lot of wear. The serving down here kind of like it's split. I'm not sure that was from the how, partly because the cam was broken, if it made it wear all funny like that. But I'm generally not really pleased with the quality of that string. That was a new set of strings I bought last year. I didn't put them on though, but yeah, I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a new set. So I ordered strings a while ago. Decided to mess around, catch COVID, and some other things, which kind of delayed me putting them on. But I'm going to get around doing that today. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of measurements and pictures so I don't mess this up. So what I'm looking for is I need to make sure the axle's the same, the brace height's the same. I'm going to measure the height of my D loop, or the height of my peep sight for my D loop, and my knock point, so that once I put this in the press, swap the strings, so I get it back to as close as it was. So I'm gonna write down some measurements and I'm gonna get it in the press and we'll get going. So a little bit of the prep work I'm doing here is the last bow I had in here was my Matthews Switchback, which has much narrower limbs. So I'm gonna make sure I get this actually lined up correctly to fit this. I'm personally really cautious when it comes to messing with my bow, but become a little less so over time, because I've watched some people put bows in presses and just mash them, especially guys that work in shops. But when it's your own equipment, you kind of want to be a little more gentle with it. Alright, so that's good. So before I press this bow, I'm going to back it down. I know some people say you have to, some people say you don't. I don't think I've ever taken my bow to a shop and watched them back the limbs off, but before I press it, I'm going to do 3 turns out of each limb. See if I can not knock the camera over in the process. Probably do the same thing to the top and the bottom. Just, it's important before you start setting knock points and checking draw length and tuning and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you put it back when you're done. Alright, so back 3 off each side. Go get it set in the press. I haven't changed the strings in this press in 2 years, so most of what this gets used for is as a draw board. So I gotta take a lot out of it. Alright, so I cannot stress enough, take a bunch of pictures of all this before you start. And once you pull it off, see they clip these strings together when they come. you want to keep it like that so you're not losing twist. They put the correct amount of twist in it from the, or the string maker should put the correct amount of twist in your string and cable. But I just eyeballing that now. You can see they separate the string that's going to be on the upper half, like where your peak would be. So I'm just eyeballing that I've got the correct layout of which way the string's going to go. So I've backed it off. I'm going to take a press this bow. You got to press it more than you think you need to, which might seem a little sketchy to you, but it's the nature of the beast. These strings are stretched, these aren't. So in order to get this one on, you're going to have to press it a decent bit. So you might find, as I'm reminded as I'm doing this, it's easier to hook the string on and then manipulate the cam to fit it back in the screw in the grooves. Onto the cable. Alright, once again I'm going to put a bunch of tension on this in order to get this cable off. Easier to pop it off from up here. Remember it goes over this. Don't want to mess around and knock my string off for the time being. This one is the pain to reach on this bow. That is all. That right there is not correct. This needs to be on the other side of that. that back tension off this. You want to take your time and make sure you're actually in the grooves here. Everything looks alright. Take your time, it ain't a rush. First set of strings. Oh, let's get into all the other parts. Alright, so now that we got the string swapped, which I'm really digging the all orange. I haven't had a single tone string in a very long time. What I have to do is I have a aftermarket cable slide on here. This is a Bowmedic, which I bought it just because it has rollers. But it, you can see from here, it makes, and this is the same if you use any other kind of, pretty much every aftermarket slide, like my Saunders Hyperglide was what originally tuned me into this. See how I'm farther in than a standard cable slide will set you. So what that does is it jacks up your cam lean here. You can see it's leaning pretty hard. So what I'm going to have to do to fix that is I'm going to take twists out of one side of the yoke and add twists to the other side of the yoke. And I'm going to try to do it on an even amount. So it's going to come to the right. You want to just try to keep track of how many twists and stuff you're doing. So we'll go one full twist in the right yoke. Because the side don't want to come off. I'm going to take one full twist out of the left yoke. See where we're at. That is mighty close. Still got a little bit to go. One way to check this, take a bare shaft, put it flat on the cam, and we can see we're leaning to the right still pretty good. I'm gonna do two twists this time. Yeah, we'll just do one again. We'll do one again and see what it does. Alright, so it's one full twist on the right. Don't know why the left one don't like me. Take one full out of the left. So this looks like that's mighty close. It's still gonna be to the right, just barely. Indeed it is. One more. I think one more should get us. Might only need a half, but we'll do one and see. One more in the right. Take one out the left. If that ain't it, I don't know what it is. just hitting right where the whisker biscuit is. And we're talking like a half a twist. Right there. I'm gonna put a half a twist in the right yolk and call it a day. I think. I say that, we'll see what it actually tells me. Shouldn't say going too far. Gonna take that last half twist out. And it's super close. Oh, looking pretty good. Well, I didn't have the camera on because I thought there was a chance it was going to blow everything up, but I just hooked this up to my draw board, had my scale here. You can see there 69.9 for the poundage, 14.9 pounds peak hold, which is correct for 80% let off. 70 pounds should be 15 pound hold. It's where it's supposed to be. So brace fight checks out, axle checks out, cam lean's fixed. Poundage is where it's supposed to be. I'll do more playing around with that once I get a loop on there and it's not so. I had taken D-loop cord and doubled it up, just to have something to hold on to for checking the weight. But yeah, that's interesting. I made a comment that when I've had them swapped by somewhere other than myself, it's never lined up with these two timing marks before, but the times I've done it, it has. So when this boat came from the factory, it was 67 pounds was its max. When I swapped strings, I got 72, and it was lined up with these marks. I had them changed with somebody else last year. One of them deals where it costs the same to have them make it and swap it, and it ended up being it was only 65 pounds before I just swapped it now. So I just swapped it now, 69.9 on the first pull. So right there in that 70 ballpark where it's supposed to be. I'm happy. I was wondering what was going on, if it was something to do with the cam. I didn't know what was happening, but I'm glad it's back where it's supposed to be. Well, everybody, let's wrap up today's video. Thanks for watching. I know just a quick recap. I started at 68.4 pounds. I ended up at 70.1, give or take a little bit there. So it was about a pound and a half change, and I did 3 twists for a pound and a half. So you might as well say a half pound is what added to what I added in draw weight for each twist I added to the cable. So I know this might only apply to a single cam bow. This might only apply to this bow, but hey, if you were wondering, now you know. So we're back at 70. We're back in spec. I'm happy.